Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing. Today we're looking at the new starter box for the Middle-earth strategy battle game, Lord of the Rings Battle of Osgiliath. So first of all, I want to say a massive thanks to Games Workshop for sending us a free review copy to have a look at, unbox and review for you guys. In the video we have a look through the box, see what's inside, check out the new rulebook, and hopefully by the end of the video we'll have some of the miniatures painted up too. So it's been a little while since the previous starter box came out for the Battle of Pelennor Fields. That kind of heralded the new edition of the Middle-earth strategy battle game, and from what I've seen online, I haven't dug into the box too much yet, but this is not a new edition as such, it's just a tweaked version, so FAQs are folded in there, that kind of stuff. So that's really good. If you've already got the core rulebook and you don't want all the cool stuff in here, then it's not like it's a new edition you need to jump out and get like immediately. However, if you're new to the game, or you're just a collector of the game, there's lots of cool stuff in here. So let's flip it open and see what is inside. So quite a lot of stuff. I think miniatures wise there's less in there than the Pelennor Fields box, but you do get some scenery which you didn't get in the Pelennor Fields box, and personally I'm a massive scenery fan. The stuff that they've done for Middle-earth has been absolutely phenomenal. So you can see kind of dotted around this table here, it's new kind of modular ruins. We'll have a look at the sprues in a bit, but basically all these individual pieces that can go together multiple ways to create your own custom ruins. I suspect with enough of the intact bits you could probably get some intact buildings as well, so that's pretty cool. Like I say, we'll be having a look at that in a little while. There's also an updated rules manual, so that, like I say, has got all the FAQs and stuff folded into it, so we'll have a look at that later on in the video. You also get two armies. For the Forces of Good you get 12 Warriors of Minas Tirith and 12 Rangers of Gondor, and then you get a sprue of new and updated heroes, so Faramir, we've got Madril and Damrod, all updated with nice new sculpts and plastic, which is cool. And then for the Forces of Evil there's 24 Orcs, a Mordor Troll, and then Gothmog as well. So yeah, really looking forward to getting this on the table. I'm a big fan of the Middle-earth strategy battle game, and this kind of box is really nice for kind of breathing new life into it. Obviously a lot of models are quite old now, but I think some of them do still stand up. So let's crack open the box and have a look what we get. And it is a big hefty box, so let's take the lid off and have a look at the goodies inside. So first of all, let's have a look at some of the older stuff in here, because they are existing kits. So we'll take out the evil side first, I think. Let's move that to one side. So like I say, you get the Mordor Troll. It's an older kit now, but it's still pretty cool. It's got quite a few options on there as well. So yeah, you've got a few different options on how you can put this together. So yeah, that'd be cool. You get two sprues of Orcs. These are very old kits. 2007 it says on the frame, but they still stand up. It'd be nice to see some of the kind of basic infantry updated for the game. I guess that's the one mark I've got against this box. There are some very old kits here. However, compared to the new hero models, I mean, these just blow out the water. So we've got a Gothmog here, looking awesome. You can build him on foot or mounted, as per most Middle-earth models. Like I say, at the end of the video we'll be having a proper look at these assembled and hopefully painted as well. I'm going to try and get these painted up by the time this video goes out. I've got the old resin one of these and it was not an enjoyable experience building it, so I'm really glad that's in plastic now. And then for the Forces of Good, not as many models. We get a frame of Warriors of Minas Tirith. So again, we've seen these have been kicking around for a long time. What's the date on that sprue? 2003. So yeah, these guys have been around a long time. I'd quite, again, really like to see these updated. They're still okay for your basic line infantry though, and they're going to be quite quick to paint up. Similarly, you get the Rangers in there as well. They're a little bit newer, 2006. The good thing with the Middle-earth models is that they're quite simple. Like these are just, one or two piece most. Slot them in the bases and then you're good to go. So they shouldn't be too hard to paint up. Again though, the star of the show is the new characters. So it's taken those old metal originally, and I think the most recent incarnations, I don't know if they're in resin at the minute, and the ones I had were metal. But yeah, they've been redone in plastic. And what's really nice about these, there's options on the base for having them out in the wilderness, on rocks and on branches and stuff, or you can also build them up on kind of like fallen masonry and stuff if you set them kind of within a Osgiliath. So it's quite nice that you can have them either, you know, it's out in the wilds where they're hunting golem, or in Osgiliath itself. So that's a really nice sprue, and again, really looking forward to seeing what these look like built and painted up. Now for me, the real draw of this box is the brand new scenery. So it looks like we get 4 frames, 2 sets of 2 by the look of things. So there's one frame that's got more ruined pieces. So this is all you can have crumbling walls and flooring. And this looks very, very modular. It looks like you use these kind of little sections here to kind of connect all these cubes together. So while you can just make like an L-shaped ruin, I think that with enough of these kits you'll be able to put together something quite special. If you have a look at the intact sprue, see, with enough of these you've got kind of full wall sections. Using just these sprues you could probably make like a tower, or even like start to make some kind of complete buildings, which would be really, really nice to see. So I'm going to have a bit of a play with these. For this set I'm probably going to build them as they are on the box. But yeah, I might, when these are available separately, which I suspect is not going to be too far off, when I do a big kind of like building, I do wonder if they put together a big box with a load of frames. They did for the Dol Guldur and the Rohan buildings, and again they're quite similar in that they're modular and you can stick multiple ones together to make a bigger building. So that's pretty cool. I'll move those to one side and have a look what else is in the box. So if I take this off here, we have got the rules manual. Again, we'll have a look at that in a bit more detail later on. We've got the construction manual, bases, dice, range ruler, all the usual doodads in there, and a Battle of Osgiliath scenarios and profiles book. So again, we'll have a look at that in a little bit alongside the rule book. Let's have a quick look at the instructions, just see how all this stuff goes together. So obviously the kind of new multi-part heroes are going to be a little bit more complex, but again, they're not many pieces, not going to be too hard to build, just more complex compared to some of the like 2-part models in the rest of the box. Troll, obviously you've got a few options on him as well. The ruins, yeah, they look really clever how they go together, so I'm looking forward to having a proper play with these and seeing what can be done. It looks like there's some example ones within the box to make a couple of ruins. So like I say, this one I'll probably build as this, but later boxes I might see if I can put something together a little bit different. So yeah, they look really fun. So yeah, looking forward to painting that up. But yeah, what we'll do now is have a look at the manuals in here, the little Osgiliath supplement, and check that out. So let's have a look at the new updated rules manual in the box. Now it's worth saying that this is not a new like edition of the game. This is the same edition as the previous version of this book. Really all that's changed in here are erratas and FAQs have been folded into the book. So there's going to be no differences from rule mechanics. Basically, if it's been adjusted in an FAQ and an errata, it has been adjusted in this book too. So that's cool. I guess it's the most complete and kind of up-to-date Middle-earth strategy battle game rule book, but there's nothing different here from a rule point of view. So one example, if we go forward to the Alliance Matrix, for example, that has now been updated with all of the factions from the game, so all of the good armies, all the evil armies. Obviously quite a few have been added since that the original release of this book, so it's good. It's been, I think it was a concern when they announced the Osgiliath box that perhaps they'd tinker with the core mechanics of the game or change things around, or you know, we see it in the other Games Workshop games that every 3 to 5 years, I'd say, new editions come around where they adapt things and change things. For Middle-earth, we haven't seen that. We saw that I guess the second edition of the game really come out with the Pelennor Fields box, and this is just a tweaked and tightened up rules with the bits fixed from the FAQs, nothing changing mechanically. So that's good. If you currently play the game now, nothing is changing for the rule book. So If you've got a core book and FAQs already, awesome, you're up to date. Obviously, if you do want the updated rule book, I'm sure this will probably be available separately after the box as well. So yeah, so from a rules point of view, nothing's changed here. It is essentially the same book that we saw before, just updated. So don't need to worry. If you've already got this book, then potentially you don't need to get the book out of the rule book. Though I would say, if you want all of the new stuff, so the new plastic miniatures, the new scenery, and the updated book, getting all that separately would cost more than the contents of the box, so that is an option. Obviously, if you're a newcomer, then absolutely, this book is what you need to play the game. You get 2 armies in there and the scenery too, so that makes it a really good buy. Arguably what's more important for newcomers to the game though is the Battle of Osgiliath supplement that comes in the box. So this is basically kind of an intro tutorial book for playing the Middle-earth strategy battle game. So that's really, really good for newcomers, which I think is really what this box is pitched at. It's very much a starter box. You've got the dice in there, you've got tokens, you've got rulers, you've got 2 starter armies, the core rules, and then this book, which basically kind of takes you through a series of scenarios, so 4 games in total, and it kind of introduces new things about the game to you to make it easier to learn, which is a really good thing. So let's have a look at this and see what we get inside. So, obviously get a bit of breakdown of the contents here and everything's in the box. Obviously we're seeing this during the unboxing, but there's a fair bit of stuff in this box. I think one of the things that, while Pelennor Fields has got more miniatures than this box, an important thing that Pelennor Fields didn't have that is included in this box is the new scenery. And we'll have a look at one of the assembled pieces in a little bit later in the video. But I do think that for learning to play the game, having the scenery in there is a really important thing. You would never play a proper game on just a flat surface with no scenery. So why should an intro game be on that as well? You know, the way scenery works and acts as cover, and even just adding a bit of an aesthetic kind of appeal to the battlefield. I think scenery is a really, really important thing, so I am glad that they've included it in here. Yes, it's possibly been at the cost of more miniatures, but I mean, someone picking this up has got everything they need to get playing straight away, which is really, really good. So, if we have a look through here, basically we get 4 scenarios that slowly introduce different concepts of the game. So, we start with a small force. In this mission, for example, we've got 12 warriors in Minas Tirith versus 12 orcs, with a range of different weaponry, just as a way of kind of talking through the tactics of what you should be doing. What's really nice is you get a little box out showing what you should be doing tactically, and then also ideas to adapt this for the future as well. So if you do enjoy it, how, what your next steps should be, how you can expand this out, what you should be doing. So that's really, really cool. And we see this throughout the 4. So we start off with small forces in this one. We then move up to having a hero and some more models, going up to Hunter of the Hunted, where we get a bit more kind of interest there. We've got multiple heroes, we've got monsters, and basically this mission basically teaches you how those interact. It does call out that for the first couple, don't use any heroic actions or anything because that's a little bit too complex. This is really just kind of talking about heroes and monsters and might and fate points work. Again, for people who are established hobbyists, then this is, probably something you're already very used to. You've played this before, you know what you're doing, but someone entirely new to the game, this is a really nice way of kind of introducing those concepts and rules and just making it accessible to them. So really kind of hats off for that. I do like that. And then the final mission then basically is your first proper full game of Middle-earth. It uses the entire contents of the box, and by now hopefully you know how heroic actions and stuff work, and you've got heroes on both sides. So yeah, really, really like that. And again, even for experienced hobbyists, it's probably worth having a play through. You can always adapt things, can't you? But I do feel this is very much I've not played Middle-earth strategy battle game before. How do we get started? Here's 4 missions to talk you through it to use in conjunction with the rules manual. And that's a really, really good thing. I think a lot of people who have maybe dabbled in the strategy battle game in the past, maybe through the Partwork magazine or even back 20 years ago when these original boxes came out, might see this on the shelf and go, well, you know what? I'll dabble into the Middle Earth strategy battle game again. Pick this up. I've got 2 armies in there. I've got scenery. I've got the core rules. I think we'll see a lot of people of that ilk kind of join in the game again, so that's really, really cool. I expect we'll see this under a fair few Christmas trees as well, because I think it's been pretty popular. They did an interesting pre-order a couple of months ago where if you wanted it in time for Christmas, you could order a copy and get it. And I know a lot of people might already have this in their hands as well. I know certainly if you do want it like right now, Element Games, for example, do have it in stock at the minute. So yeah, it's technically up for pre-order today, but some places have already got it because of the pre-order they did, which again kind of goes into this being I guess a Christmas item. But this is going to be like the core starter box going forward, so that's pretty good. The rest of this little kind of intro manual has all our profiles as well. You don't get any points in here, so you will still need the armies of the Lord of the Rings if you wanted the points and stuff. However, again, for the purposes of this being a starter box with the factions, the kind of the armies in each scenario being spelled out for you, that isn't much of an issue because it kind of the scenarios create the balanced forces for you. I guess the next step from playing through those is then creating your own force and finding out the points for them and stuff. So again, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, and I think that's a fun thing about this box. It's going to get people into the hobby. So yeah, so we get all the profiles for the contents of the box, along with the evil ones as well. Now obviously these are designed for just being the contents of this box. So the troll, for example, has just got the options for what he's armed with in that picture. Again, this isn't really designed at people going kind of further from the box because they'll need further books for that. But that segues quite nicely into what the book does next. It talks through, okay, you've played your first few games, awesome, what might you need following this? So it talks about what models you might want to add to your forces, what supplement books you want to pick up. Now interestingly, it doesn't call out the armies of the Lord of the Rings and the armies of the Hobbit books in this section, which did surprise me. I do wonder if they'll get reprinted at some point and fold in some of the erratas that have happened, fold in some of the releases that have happened in supplemental books maybe. We don't know if that's happening, we've had no word of that. It just wouldn't surprise me. It seems a natural time to maybe reprint those with a version 2 that folds in some of the stuff that's been released in various supplements over the years. I mean, it's been 4 years, I think, since Pelennor Fields came out, so quite a few things have been updated or changed since then. So it's not completely, I guess, unexpected that they'd reprint that. Again, we don't know if that is the case, that is just speculation on my part, but it is interesting that it isn't mentioned in here that you need that to kind of get the points and the details for these armies. And then on the very back cover you get a really nice little cheat sheet as well that goes through the kind of the turn order. You've got the wound chart on there, and you've got kind of quick reference sheets at the bottom with all the profiles of the various fighters. So again, really, really handy for new players, and that is really what I think this box is aimed at. Though, like I say, if you're an existing player, there are some bargains to be had, especially if you want those new miniatures as well. So let's have a quick look at what they look like next. So the thing I was most excited about in this box was the new terrain. I'm a bit of a scenery nerd. I love building and painting terrain, and I was interested to see kind of what a multi-part Osgiliath building would be like, and they've done an amazing job. Obviously we saw in the sprue kind of images, these are all modular with each like individual section of this being a different part on the frame that can go together in like countless different combinations. I will say it's going to take a little while to build them. It took me ages to build this one ruin because all these like little bits at the top are separate, all the like connecting pillars are separate. If you've built any of the other Middle Earth scenery, very similar to how it goes together. So basically you've got different panels and then fixed by kind of like joining parts, which is really, really good because it means the sky's the limit on what you can build, but it does mean it does take a little bit longer to build, and you might need to do a little bit of planning as well. Obviously in the instruction manual it does give you 4 different layouts for buildings, but obviously you could just use the content of the box to build a massive kind of ruin. Interestingly, if you could scratch build a kind of roof for it, you could probably use all these intact parts to build like a fully intact kind of ministry style building. So that would be really, really cool. Painting this was really quick as well. So it took me about half an hour to paint it, compared to the longer than that it took to build it. And basically I sprayed it black and then started building up with various dry brushes. I think I started with dried bark and then worked up through kind of browns through to whites to kind of build up this colour. If you check out spruesandbrews.com, in our full Battle of Osgiliath review, I have got a painting guide on there as well if you want to paint these yourself, because honestly I think these are my favourite kit in the box. They are really, really nice, and I'm looking forward to building the other 3, getting them painted, and then hopefully if this kit gets released separately after the release of this box, pick up a few more sets and build a little city of Osgiliath. I think that'd be really, really fun. But yeah, they've done a cracking job, and yeah, outstanding work on the scenery. So that's the scenery. Now I haven't had a chance to finish painting the miniatures in the box. However, I just wanted to have a quick look at them just to show you what they look like. Now interestingly, Gothmog has got pre-drilled magnet holes. So there's a magnet hole inside the warg, and then you probably won't be able to see it there, but there is a magnet hole just on his leg that, if we can get in focus, you can just about see there glistening. And that means that you can attach him to his warg and then snap him off when he's dead. So really handy. So that was a fun addition to there. Obviously his on foot version is included as well. Like with all the other Lord of the Rings characters, you get both mounted and on foot. So looking forward to painting him. I've also started work on the 3 Gondor characters as well. So for these, obviously the kind of like fallen masonry and stuff is in the same scheme as the Osgiliath building. So what I did is I left Faramir here separate from the ruin that he's kind of hopping over. Painted that, and then I've attached him to it with super glue. You could leave him separately and paint him with him not attached there, might make it a little bit easier, and that's actually something I've done with the other 2. So you'll see that what I've actually done is left them as a separate piece, painted up the masonry, because there's a lot of dry brushing and I guess potential for you to get colours on the masonry or masonry colours on the thing. So I've left him separate, and what I'm going to do is put him on a separate base and paint him up separately, just to make life a little easier, and then I can just super glue him onto it. And then for the other character, again, pretty much the same. He does like slot in place, but he is separate, just to make painting that a lot easier, because I thought if he's on there, it's going to be hard kind of getting around his cloak and stuff. But they build up really nice, and I'd certainly recommend leaving those bits separate just to make it a little bit easier to get to it. But yeah, really nice models, looking forward to doing it. Obviously there's a whole load of other models within the box as well. So yeah, what we'll do is probably have a follow-up article once we've got everything kind of built and painted. And then we're going to do some battle reports as well. What we'll probably do is play through the Battle of Osgiliath missions. Yeah, they're fairly basic, but it'd be a nice way of kind of easing people into the game. You know, if you've not played it before, we'll play through those missions, and that'll help you kind of pick up how to play the game, see what the kind of mechanics are, all that side of thing. And then what we'll want to do is have more kind of Middle-earth battle reports and stuff on the channel as well, so that will follow. So yeah, that was a look at the Battle of Osgiliath for the Middle-earth strategy battle game by Games Workshop. Really, really nice box. I think it's £125 from third-party sites like Element. You can get it for £100, so there's about £217 off the top of my head worth of miniatures and the book in there. So pretty good value. Now obviously some of those miniatures are quite old now, so the value to you may be less, but just the new stuff, the Middle-earth character kind of boxes are normally about £26 each. You get 2 of them. You get the ruins that I've priced at £45 based on the Dol Guldur scenery set. which I think is roughly probably what they're going to go for. Might be more, might be less, I don't know, but roughly that. And then you're talking like £37.50 for the rule book. So just for those new bits, if you bought them all separately, it still costs you more than just buying the box from Element for £100 and having a load of plastic miniatures left over from that as well. So if you do want all the new stuff, it's worth picking up. If you're brand new to the game and want to try it, I think this is an excellent way of getting into the hobby. You're getting 2 armies there, you're getting all the scenery, you're getting all the rules, the full rule book as well. Now, arguably, you are going to need armies of the Lord of the Rings at some point, and you are going to need some plastic glue to build them. But it's certainly a everything in one box kind of jobby, just like Indomitus or Dominion or the Age of Darkness box, and this I guess is the equivalent for Middle-earth. And the good thing is this is the kind of like permanent box that'll be on the shelf for presumably the next 4 years until they recycle it again. So yeah, definitely worth picking up. If, say, you're not interested in the miniatures and you just want the updated rule book, then yeah, it's probably going to be a bit out of your price range at £125. But if you've not played before, or you're interested in the factions, or you want to get your hands on the new models, then yeah, there's certainly worse things you can do than pick up this box, because it's a really, really good one. So yeah, like I say, we'll be doing some more Middle-earth content going forward. If you have enjoyed this video, why not subscribe? We do lots of unboxings and reviews and all that kind of stuff. The painting stream will be starting again imminently as well, and we're looking to do some fun kind of like narrative content in the new year as well. Like I say, we've also got a full written review of this over on spruesandbrews.com, so check out that if you're interested. And also, if you'd like to support the site, then why not order your copy of Battle of Osgiliath through our affiliate link to Element Games, which is in the comments. That way we get a little bit of a kickback, and it kind of helps run the site and pay for the website and all that. And again, massive thanks to Games Workshop who sent us a free copy to unbox and review for the channel. So yeah, until next time, hope you have a great weekend and have a good Christmas.